Early Esperance. The first arrivals in the region were the Noongar Aboriginal clans. They were a great asset to the early Europeans, assisting them in exploring the land, finding water, and obtaining game. The Dutch were the first Europeans in the region to board the Gulden Zeepaert, which sailed the Great Australian Bight in 1627. It's certain the coast was visited by other Dutch sailors and probably seathers and whalers in the 165 years which passed between 1627 and 1792, with the next important visitor, Captain Bruni Entre Castor, commanding the Research. Entre Castor anchored in the harbour and named it Esperance Bay. The next explorer was Matthew Flinders, who arrived in 1802 and explored the islands and mainland. Edward John Eyre explored the area in June 1841 and arrived in the bay. He found whalers there who had established a small settlement. Eyre was followed by John Septimus Roe, who was an explorer in 1848. Annie and Andrew Dempster were the first settlers, drove sheep, cattle, and horses from Northern in 1863 and took up a large grazing lease. The biggest event was the arrival of the Overland Telegraph, opening in 1876 with the telegraph station in Esperance. There's a monument and gravestone to Tommy Windich, an Aboriginal, who assisted the explorer John Forrest in exploring the region. During the 1870s and 1880s, Esperance was a stopping off point for many explorers exploring the region or traveling overland to and from Adelaide. These travelers often used camels as well as horses. The town of Esperance came into existence in 1893 as a port facility for the Coogardie goldfield. Much of the supplies for the goldfields in Kalgoorlie and Coogardie were shipped to Esperance and bought overland from there. During this period, the town developed rapidly with numerous hotels, breweries, guest houses, and stores. Early photographs of the town during the 1890s are illustrative of the goldfield's prosperity. The undoing of Esperance was the arrival of the railway, the Great Eastern and Goldfield Railway, from Perth to Kalgoorlie in 1896. Most miners took the railway to Kalgoorlie, and there was little need for the Esperance port. Much of the settlement that had occurred in Esperance disappeared overnight. Even today, some of the remains of early settlement can be found, such as Dempster's limestone homestead and the theatre built in 1896. The Pier Hotel is still operating today. It's quite interesting to look at the number and the size of hotels in Esperance. Even today, there are numerous hotels catering for the town. Although Esperance pushed for a railway link to Kalgoorlie in 1898, this railway was not constructed until 1925. In 1901, William Dempster wrote, "Esperance is getting very quiet and dull. People are leaving and houses are being pulled down. Wool prices are low." The importance of Esperance until the arrival of the railway, and with the arrival of the railway, continued to be as an ocean port. Esperance today has an excellent museum with numerous displays about the early town and pioneer life. This 1953 map illustrates the railway link to Coogardie and the various wharfs. The original wharf in 1858, called the Esperance Bay Jetty, the original Esperance Jetty at the end of the museum, and the new jetty. A jetty was constructed at Newtown in 1903 and the J Jetty in 1934. Thanks, viewer, for joining me on this short video. I do appreciate your company and wish you a very pleasant day.